Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're gonna take a look at a team from its action. The current world champion for Pokemon Go might actually change soon, right? We're going to have soon the new world championships coming up as well in Hawaii, so that's going to be quite interesting. But anyway, link to them is going to be down in the description. They hit a veteran with this, which is quite early for this. I'm literally lurking like 100 points in front of veteran for the last like 3-4 days, which is kind of hilarious. And yeah, we're gonna take a look today at this team here. This is going to be some Ultra League battles, something that I have not really taken too much of a look at yet for this season, and also, to be fair, not even for the last season. I don't know. Like, let me know in the comment section as well. What do you feel like about Ultra League currently? I just don't really know what I can think about this one. Also, if you of course go down there, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It's free and it helps the algorithm, the only algorithm that actually exists, so that's kinda nice. Anyway, like, yeah, I don't really know what I think about the Ultra League. I kinda avoided this league for the last season, and I kinda avoided this league so far for this season, and I just don't really like it. Great play, by the way, from the opponent here, catching this move on the Registeel. They were swapping into their Dragonite now into the Registeel, which is very, very smart, like, well played there, for sure. But, yeah, I don't know, like, I just don't really like the bulkiness of this league. Yes, I know this is, like, basically all built around bulk, and some people were like, yeah, it's kind of like Great League with bulk, which is going to give you some more play in, like, bad matchups and whatever. I can see those points as well, but for me, I just feel like bulk is too overpowered in this meta. That's kind of what I want to say here. Well, we're going to have a team that is not very bulky. And that's kind of what I'll talk about here as well today, my experiences with this team. And I don't know, like for me, I feel like I am just not really that great in Ultra League, to be fair. Ultra League is quite different to like all the other cups. Basically, here bulk is king, and like I know bulk is already king in like the Great League and in the Master League. Not really, to be fair, only really in the Great League otherwise. But for this cup in general, it is even quite worse in my opinion, because like, I don't know, like we have a very squishy team here, and I feel like there were so many occasions where I was just not able to break through the bulk of the opponent. And it was kind of, I don't know, like we were in decent matchups, but then the opponent has like this insanely bulky Pokemon, like Zygarde or like a Tentacruel. Like the amount of Tentacruel that I encountered was quite mad. Like honestly, this Pokemon was literally everywhere, which was quite wild. But yeah, here we're going to see the opponent going to have that Talonflame, I think it is. It is going to be the Talonflame, and we're going to swap out into our Drapion. Drapion not running the Awkward Tail. Drapion is going to run the move of Sludge Bomb here, and I definitely like Sludge Bomb on this Pokemon. And I don't really know too sure like if like this is the right order of playing this team as well. I could see that even the Drapion is your main save swap and the FERALIGATR is in the back, because at least for me, a lot of times I ended up in situations where I just kind of rather had the FERALIGATR there instead. But yeah, I don't know, like it was a little bit of an awkward one. Definitely best Pokemon for this team, I would actually say Drapion. Drapion was definitely very cool. I don't like Crunch in the Ultra League for the FERALIGATR. Like I was just copying, of course, the entire moveset that it actually used as well. I looked in the stream. By the way, I was quite lucky that I was able to get this move off. This is not supposed to happen, but like the game is currently quite laggy and whatever. But here we are going to be able to still get to the Ice Punch. I would definitely do not deserve to win this battle, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I just, honestly, it is a difficult one. I don't know, like for Ultra League, it is just like the pure bulk that kind of makes me not want to play this league. I kind of like those cups, like not really the cup that we currently have going on, because everything is around Charger Bug and Vigoroth, but like those more limited metas where bulk is not like king and where you just have like some more kind of different Pokemon to play. But here, like the amount of Giratina that I encountered, Cresselia that I encountered, and then I was trying to go for example, a Shadow Ball against a Cresselia. For me, like only really playing Great League, I was thinking like, yeah, maybe this does like 80% or something. No, it just did like kind of like 50% or something like this, and it was just like kind of insane. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more about the battles here while I was complaining about the yeah, Ultra League here. Let me know in the comment section again, like what do you really feel about the Ultra League. The Ultra League is quite an interesting place for sure. Interesting place is also where we're going to be in here right now, because the opponent has a Shadow Charm user, which is going to be quite an annoying Pokemon to deal with. For sure, if you have a Shadow Alolan Ninetales for the Ultra League, I feel like this Pokemon is so good in the current meta. Like, so many Pokemon going to be weak to it, unless you're going to encounter a Tentacruel. Like, the first 3 battles that I did with this team, by the way, everything is randomized, not every battle is in here. like the first 3 battles that I did, all people had basically the exact same team with like a Tentacruel, with a Giratina, I think like a Poliwrath or something. Like everybody is the exact same team, and I don't know, like I don't really see this too often in like Open Great League where people have just like back to back the exact same team. I know it was just like bad luck for me, but Ultra League seems like so weird. Anyway, we're going to see here the Greedent, and I think this is not going to work out unless you're going to be able to still survive one charm from the opponent, which we will not be able to, and so we can move on to the next opponent. Oh, look at this, Tentacruel in the lead. What a surprise. There again, like a Tentacruel in the lead was quite a common one for me. I will be able to still go for that Shadow Ball though against them, which is going to hopefully do some nice damage, and it does not. Because the opponent decides to use a shield, I can swap out for FERALIGATR. In comes the Poliwrath, and I guess it's going to be a great matchup for us because we don't want to have the Poliwrath against our Pokemon in the back, even though it's not too bad now because we are not running Awkward Tail on our Drapion. We can actually do quite a lot of damage against the opponent's Poliwrath with that Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb does around like 45% against the opponent, which is kind of cool. And yeah, here anyway, we're going to be able to go for that Hydro Cannon. We can still reach another one, which is super important for us because this is going to allow us to force the final shield of the opponent, which I'm totally happy about. I can let the move go through expecting an Ice Wind because like Ice Wind is guaranteed debuff, and it's very likely that I would use a shield, and we were correct with that. I can use a shield now on the potential Scald, and I can swap out into my Drapion. And yeah, Drapion usually is a very bulky Pokemon for the Ultra League, but not the Shadow variant, and we're gonna see it here right now as well. I did not expect that the Scald would do that much damage, like not even close. And we can try to go for another Crunch here against the opponent. This is going to two-shot them most likely, but we're going to have a CMP tie, and I was thinking it's very likely the Acid Spray, but I cannot risk it. Like, I cannot really risk it in the position that I was in, and so, like, the only play that I can do now is I can overfarm to another Crunch, hope for the best, but it's looking kind of dire here for us as we're gonna get the knockout. In comes the Steelix. That's kind of actually playable. We kind of really want to have a debuff here, but we don't get the debuff, and this is going to make things quite worse, because with a debuff, we would have been able to put them into Shadow Ball range for sure. Now they're going to be able to debuff us, and yeah, we're gonna still get that Shadow Ball off against the opponent. It is gonna connect, it's gonna do quite some decent damage, and luckily, we can actually farm them all the way down. And I feel like the opponent had some lag here because I think there would have been a counter coming through here which did not go through in time. And so we can still win the battle, but again, like the game state right now is also so horrible. Honestly, all the battles I did today had like crazy lag in there. You don't always see this in like those recordings because it's sped up by 1.8 times, which makes you basically have 1.8 times the amount of frames. So if you have frame drops, it kind of can cover this up quite easily. But this game, like in general, like the entire games that I played today, there was not a single one, I think, where I didn't have frame drops, where I didn't have like even like really drops that were impacting my gameplay by quite a lot, which is like crazy. Like we are currently having, I think, those kind of issues for 1.5 months now already, and Niantic doesn't do anything about it, and there is no official communication about it. It is just, I don't know, like the state right now is kind of mad, but I don't really want to do like those toxic yeah, videos where I just kind of only say negative things the entire time, so I'm going to leave it at this. I kind of want to also put some more positivity towards it here. As you're gonna see here, at least the Greedent taking a crunch and still surviving with 1 HP, which is not really that positive in my opinion, but at least we're going to be able to go ahead and go for that Shadow Ball against the opponent's Poliwrath. This is gonna be able to get that shield. We can use a shield here as well most. No, we're actually gonna let the move go through, hoping that our FERALIGATR is going to be able to win this. We have to cannot speed the opponent here in order to win this, and we cannot speed them, which is going to be lovely for us, as now we can hit that Hydro Cannon, knock them out, and let's see in the back, it's going to be a Jealousness. That's an easy knockout. Next opponent, we're going to have another, honestly, I don't know, like Tentacruel is just killing me in this matter. It is ridiculous on how good this Pokemon is. Especially, I'm like kind of curious on how this really happened, because like if you know like the kind of formula for Pokemon Go, for like the stats and stuff like this, Pokemon with a lot of speed are actually kind of in a disadvantage for PvP. Like that's why you have like a lot of those bulky Pokemon like Bastion, which has like 0 speed basically, or Chansey being quite bulky, because yeah, basically speed goes equally on attack and defense, but you don't want to have an equal spread of attack and defense. And why I was saying this is because actually in the main series games, Tentacruel is one of the speedier Pokemon with a 100 base speed. For whatever reason, this Pokemon has that. And so yeah, this is kind of an awkward one. We're gonna go ahead now and use a shield against the opponent's move. It's going to be the Ice Wind, which is kind of awkward again. But as you're gonna see, we can still at least try to reach that Shadow Ball to knock them out. but this is going to get no shield actually, so there might be still a chance of winning this game. But again, like I feel like for me, I think this team has a lot of potential. I guess like the world champion got up to veteran rank with this. You kind of would expect this from a team. But here I make a mistake. This was something which I wanted to shield, by the way, but I didn't shield for whatever reason. Like this was a mistake on me. Like I actually didn't even know why I didn't shield at the like situation itself. I still remember that. But basically for me, like, I think you have to just play the team for a little bit, or like the Pokemon for a little bit. For me, not playing the Ultra League for, I think, like 4 or 5 months, like seriously, is kind of not helpful as well. But I think it definitely has a lot of potential. You just have to be getting a little bit more used to certain matchups, and I think it's a great team. Just like, yeah, you need maybe a little bit of time to actually execute with it. Next opponent, we're going to have Annihilape Mirror. Here I actually tried to do something different, because I was not sure at this point if Drapion might not even be the better say swap. I decided to swap out into the Drapion now to try to catch a Shadow Ball. And look at this, it worked out immediately, which is going to be lovely. We still have Crunch, we still have some frame drops that you even saw there. But also we're going to see now why a Sludge Bomb might be a cool play on this Pokemon. As you gonna see, it does around 45% of the health of the opponent's Poliwrath. They can still go for the full farm down, but we still have our pure water type in the back here, which is going to be able to resist everything the opponent wants to go for. And I don't really need alignment. Like, I don't really need alignment here at all. I have 2 Pokemon that are kind of decent against Annihilape. One is my own Annihilape, and the opponent decides to swap out into Annihilape. That's going to be great, because now we can swap out into our own, and I decided to go purposely for the bait here, because if you swap out and try to go straight for a charge move, it's usually basically not a bait, because they kind of expect you to go ahead and try to snipe the Pokemon from them. But this time around we were able to get the shield from the opponent. Now we can go for the Shadow Ball, and look at this, boom, and knocking out the opponent's Annihilape, and they have their Charizard in the bag. We can go for the safe play of just going for the Ice Punch here. This is going to allow us to get some damage onto them, and hopefully I can still reach on in time. Let's find out. Yeah, I can, and this is going to be great, because now I can decide to use a shield here. I can get the final shield from the opponent, and I can swap out into my FERALIGATR, which is going to be able to take any kind of move from the opponent here as well, even a Blast Burn, which is going to do like quite a lot of damage here. It doesn't really matter, we can win this battle and we can move on to the final one for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video so far. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and also look at this, we're going to have a Giratina against us. We can go for our Crunch, and it looks kind of nice for us. We had a very good lead for us. We're going to have a Pokemon here that's going to be totally fine for us, and we even get the debuff, so everything is going our way. And you might already expect that there is things going to not be on our way soonish, but here I was kind of letting the opponent have their switch advantage, because I didn't really care too much about it. We have 2 great answers here. Also, we have like even more like again. We have 2 great answers against the Steelix. We have a water type, and we're going to have a fighting type Pokemon. So yeah, I was hoping that I can just farm them all the way down after the debuff with my FERALIGATR against the Giratina. Turns out, like, this is kind of what I was talking about before. Bulk is just king in this meta. Like, it's so insane how bulky the Giratina is, and they can still survive like so many super effective Shadow Claws from a Shadow FERALIGATR while being at -1 defense, and it is just ridiculous. Like, look at the damage output of the Hydro Cannon. Like, 2 Shadow Pokemon against each other, and it barely does 50%. It is honestly the thing that I just don't really like here. And here's like the most ridiculous thing. Psyche Fangs coming through. In comes Cresselia. Confusion Cresselia. Like any other Pokemon, would have been so fine for our entire team, but look at Confusion Cresselia chunking away from our health. But not only this, we also have our FERALIGATR in the back, and yeah, while Shadow Claw is super effective, Confusion looks like, I don't know, double super effective against us. It is mad. Like, this Pokemon is bulky and still hits so hard, and so sadly we're going to lose this final battle. I don't know, Ultra League is not mine. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this league, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.